Hello all, Monkhouse here. Today we're going to be learning how to draw a rectangle around an object we might find in an image. So we're going to start. By first. I'm going to show you how we can draw a line. Let's make this a bit bigger actually. This was really small in my last video. I've got a fairly decent sized screen. So ls, we want to go into emax.a.py, and I'm going to bring that out to the right hand side, and I'm going to make Control X. Let's make it about this big, so that way you'll be able to see. So if you've continued from the previous video, you can delete everything but what you see on the screen right now. This is our starting point, so let's get started. Firstly, we want to actually import math, because we're going to be using that, and then we're going to just going to plot some points basically, and then matplotlib will automatically connect our lines for us. So we're going to start with 10, which just means our x value is going to start 10 pixels in, and then our x end, we're just going to draw a horizontal line, by the way, which means our y values will be the same, and we're going to use the im.width. We learnt that attribute in the last video, minus 10. So we've got between the last 10 pixels and the first 10 pixels is going to be our line. And then we said that our y start is going to be the same as our y end. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, hold out here for a second. We want a whole number, but our height might be an odd number. So if we divide that by 2, then we would get a decimal number, which we don't want. So we're just going to floor it with math.floor to make sure we get a whole number. So that's that. We also want two arrays, which we're going to plot to give us our, whoops, why am I doing that? That's going to be x end, sorry, and that's wrong again, bear with me, I can do this. And our y values, so here we could obviously just plot y start, but we're not going to do that, we're going to do y end like this. And now all we really need to do is im show, of course, which is going to be im, and we also want to do plot, which is going to plot our values for us. And this is a really simple way to just make sure this is big enough for everyone. Python 3, we're going to do a.py. And there you go, there's our line horizontally. We can see actually from the image, it's quite important to note here that in the top left corner is 0 and in the bottom left corner is 0, so our y-axis is actually is inverted, you could say. And the point 0, 0 would be up here. The point 500, 0 would be over here, and so on. So our line is roughly in the middle, and that's our egg, so we're going to close that, and we're going to go back into our program. So we could theoretically, if we wanted to, just using our knowledge of how to construct lines, we could construct 4 lines, and then we would of course have our rectangle. But we're not going to do that, of course, because there's a better way. So let's get started. And whilst I do that, guys, remember you can actually check out the description to find the blog post. And at the bottom of that blog post you'll be able to find the Google Drive where I keep all the code, and the image, and you'll be able to download that. So firstly we're going to use something called patches, which is done for us by, whoops, that says pyplot. So we're going to port that as patches, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a new subplot on the same figure, and that's going to be called patch_im, and make sure that you put subplots and not subplot, otherwise you'll get a big error message that I got. So we've learnt that. Then we're going to say rectangle, just what we're going to call our patch. It's going to be called patches dot, and lucky for us there's a rectangle function already, which allows us then to put in our value. So I obviously played around with this. We don't have an underlying algorithm right now, so I just had to play around for a bit till I got some values that looked pretty good. So that's of course, so when we create a rectangle as well, it's going to be done with the top left corner of the rectangle. So the top left corner is going to be at the position 150 pixels in, and then at the position of 300 pixels on that graph we saw upwards. And then we're going to say our width is going to be 200 pixels, and our height is going to be 250 pixels, and that roughly covers our egg. Be much cooler when we actually have an algorithm which determines those values for us. So our edge color then is going to just equal edge color, no, edge width. It's going to be blue, I think. And then another parameter we have is our face color. And this basically just says what color do you want the face to be, and we don't want it. We want it to be transparent. So we're going to say none. And the other thing we really need to do, well, let's get rid of the plot because we're no longer plotting anything like that. We're also going to get rid of this, or more so we're going to amend this. So actually, let's amend it like I said, and this is going to now become patch_im.imShowIm. So what we're doing there is our subplot is going to be shown on the image. And then all we need to do before we show it and display it is our patch_im. We're going to add that patch. Well, we're going to add rectangle, sorry, to patch_im. So the patch we're going to add is rectangle, and we're going to add a patch.im, which is the subplot, which is going to be shown on the image. Hopefully that wasn't too much. So I think there's no errors here, so why don't we go and try that out in our editor. So we're going to run the script, and we've got an error, and it's saying it has no attribute rectangular. I've spelled it incorrectly, that's an easy fix. And right they are, of course. Now that we don't have that error, it should run, and there you go. We've actually got our egg, and we've got a blue line around the egg. So that's all worked. So hopefully that was useful. We've now learned how to draw cool rectangles around any objects that we might find in an image. Going forward, we're obviously going to be developing the algorithms which are able to detect the objects, and these numbers, these patches, will be generated for us automatically, maybe even in real time eventually. So that's going to be really cool. So if you want to see that at some point, make sure to subscribe. Check out my website. There's going to be lots of content there. Hopefully it's going to be resources, there's going to be the code and stuff on the Google Drive, on the blog post specifically, and there might be some, if you prefer to read, then you can go check it out anyway. And yeah, thanks for watching, goodbye.